Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hello. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I hope I'm audible clearly, right, sir? Yeah, thank you. Yes. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me
Good
clearly.
evening, ma'am. Very
Yeah.
good evening.
Good evening, Sharad sir. Good evening. Okay, so as I said, it is day 3, and I'm going to discuss the use of SPSS uh, for the data analysis, right? So before proceeding, I want to know how many of you are having the understanding of SPSS interface. Yes. Anyone? Any idea? Anyone who has worked previously with SPSS? No one? At least say yes or no, friends. It's difficult in the online sessions to understand.
No, ma'am. We have
Students
not
have
worked here.
messaged.
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine. I think it is new for everyone. Fine. Many of you. One message I think I got. Sir is saying he is little bit aware. Fine. Fine. Okay, no issues. Okay. So last 2 sessions you people have already attended, right? So in today's session, we will see the interface of SPSS, and I'll let you know few things about SPSS as it will be around 1.5 hour session. So I'll try how much I can explain you through the session, right? So before proceeding and talking about SPSS, I want to know what do you mean by variable? Because some basics we need to know for the data analysis purpose. So the first question is, I'm asking, what is the variable? Yes. Anyone? Which can change message by sir. Okay. Kshatriya sir has a message in the chat. Anything which can be quantified is variable. Okay, fine. Two answers. It will be better if you can interact me by the unmuting yourself.
Variables are those data which are dependent on other factors, and they vary depending on the factors and situation.
Okay, fine. Any other answer? Variable which can be changed. Priyesh sir said fine. Okay. So I'll give me a second. I'll share my screen first. And then we will talk. Okay, I think I shared my screen. It's visible, I hope. You need to say, I think once I have shared my screen, I am unable to see your reactions or any messages now. Visible, I hope, right?
Yes, ma'am, it's
Yes,
visible.
ma'am. You are visible.
Yes, ma'am. Visible, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Now, firstly, I'll talk the term variable. I think many of you are already having the idea what is variable. So it is any entity or characteristics which changes, right? So Other way around, I can say, which is not constant, is the variable. This is the very simple definition or the meaning of the variable. When we talk about research, in research, there are multiple types of variables available. So anyone who can tell me any idea if you are having about the variable types, what are the types of variables available in statistics or maybe in research? Anyone?
Ma'am, dependent and independent variable.
Okay, one classification is on the basis of dependent and independent. Fine, very good. Anyone else? Any other classification?
Extraneous variable.
Extraneous variable. Okay, fine. Okay. Fine.
Latent variable is one more addition
A
to that.
latent variable is also there. Fine. So broadly, if I'll say, I can say quantitative and qualitative variables, right? This is the one classification of the variables. Quantitative meaning is that which can be expressed in numbers or number form, right? Qualitative means which cannot be expressed in the number form. This is the very simple definition of these two, right? Examples, if I talk about quantitative variables, so like salary, age, income, etc., can come under the quantitative variable. Qualitative can be the marital status, gender, religion, right? So all these come under the qualitative variables. So this way, this is the one classification of the variable. Other is basically, I can say it is dependent and independent. So what is dependent? What is independent? The variable which is depending on other variable is known as dependent variable, and variable which is free to accept any value and is not depending on any other variable is known as independent variable, right? Is it clear? I hope. Yes. Please say something, friends. It is difficult to
Yes,
understand.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now, if suppose
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
saying, yeah, price and suppose demand. These are the two variables available with me, right? So anyone can tell me which is the dependent variable here according to your understanding and which is the independent variable using these two variables.
Demand is
will
the
be
dependent variable.
dependent variable.
Price is independent.
Prices depend on a demand.
Okay.
No,
Price
demand
is, yeah, demand is depending on the
is
price.
dependent variable, ma'am.
Yeah. The price is independent. It is in the hand of the persons according to their what I can say, whatever the expenses, whatever the things they are bearing. Accordingly, they can change the prices of the products, right? Like right, and accordingly the demand changes. So this is known as the example of independent and dependent variable, right? This is very simple to understand. So I have taken this further. Talking about the other classification is the discrete, continuous, that is numeric, and categorical, right? So discrete meaning a variable which we can express in the form of integer or in the form of whole number is known as discrete variables. For example, the number of participants in this FDP is the example of discrete variable. Continuous, which can be expressed in the form of decimal points, means there will be a continuity between the two numbers. Like any variable which can accept a value between two numbers is a continuous variable. For example, weight of a person or maybe the height of a person. the income, salary, etc. are the continuous variables. Categorical, which variable, the variables which can be expressed in the form of categories are generally, means this is generally a categorical, means the qualitative variables, right? So, for example, gender, marital status, religion, your what I can say, identity number, your roll number, or etc. can be the categorical variables, right? So this way, this is the one of the very simple classification of the variables. Further, if we will go and trying to understand the advanced statistics, so there is latent variable, one of you have said, extraneous variable, right? There is mediating variable, there is a moderator variable. So this is further classification of these variables, right? In the moderating and moderator variable, generally these are the independent variables, but they are somewhere existing in your study, so we are calling them, or they are generally what I can say, controlling the relationship between the variables. So we are generally using in these studies as a mediator and the moderating variable. Extraneous variable is again the variable which is known as the independent variables, right? So these are the form of various kind of independent variables. So these are the very common classification of the variables. Further, I think you have heard about measurement scale. How many of you have heard? Yes. Anyone? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Interval scale, madam.
Yeah, very correct. Anything else?
Ratio.
Ratio. Ordinal scale.
Scale. Ratio scale.
Likert.
Yes. Yes. You people are very correct, going in the right direction.
Measurement range.
Ordinal.
Ordinal is good. Yes, correct.
Cardinal scale.
Nominal
Ordinal
scale.
interval ratio.
Interval ratio.
Fine. Good. So it is nominal, ordinal, yes, interval,
ratio.
and ratio. So I'll take this in the next page so it is clearly visible to you. Right. Measurement scales can be classified into the four categories: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. So firstly, we will understand the concept of measurement scales. Because I am teaching all you, or I am telling you all these things because in the SPSS we need to understand all these things. So that is why priorly I am discussing all these things. So when I say the measurement scales are what? These are the scales which we can use to measure the latent variables. I think one of you have said just when I was talking about the types of the variables. So latent variables are the variables which are hidden variables, or the variables which we cannot measure directly are known as the latent variables, right? So to measure such kind of variables, we need to take the help of measurement scales. I always give an example during the making people understand about the measurement scales, that when we say measurement scales, generally we can understand this with the concept that when we are talking about some of the things or product and services generally, say for example, if I want to go in a market and I want to buy copies or maybe pencils or maybe pens, so I think I'm knowing that in which way I can demand for these things. I can ask easily, give me 1 dozen pens or maybe copies and something like that. Similarly, if I'll go in the market to buy the vegetable, I'll easily ask 1 kg, 2 kg, half kg, etc. For the liquid things, I'll ask them in the letter form. So we are knowing this thing, we are having apparatus properly, units available to measure such kind of things. But when we talk about the variables like perception, attitude, loyalty, satisfaction, etc., so we know this thing, we are not having any apparatus to measure such kind of thing. And in research, generally, we are dealing such kind of things. So to measure them, we need to take the help of these scales. Using that, we can measure them. So these are the measurement scales which can help us to measure the latent variables, right? Firstly, in this category, the first scale is the nominal scale. Anyone who can tell me what is the nominal scale?
It's a color, eye color,
Yes. Okay, fine.
color of the product.
Yes.
To know something like gender.
Yes. So if I say we are using these scales for the categorization purpose or identification purpose only. Apart from that, nothing extra we can do with the nominal scale variable. Means that variable can be only categorized or can be used to categorize these things, right? Say for example, when we are collecting the data from the peoples for any research, generally we are asking several demographic questions from the respondents to understand their background, right? So usually we are asking their gender, their marital status, their income, their occupation, etc. So some of the variables are coming under the nominal scale, right? So as I think one of you said gender, right? One has said eye color, right? Or the religion or the marital status. All these comes under the nominal scale, right? When you will understand this, you can means when you will take one by one these variable, you can understand the concept of nominal scale. Say for example, if I am talking about the very basic example, which is gender. So when I say I'm classifying my respondents on the basis of their gender, so I can easily say how many of the male and how many of the females I'm having if I'm taking only two genders, right? That is means this way I can only classify my group of people on the basis of their gender. Similarly, eye color, religion, marital status, etc. we can use to classify the people. Then further, if I talk about the identification, so I think we are knowing this thing that for the research purpose, some variables we need to code, right? Coding we are doing to code for performing these statistics, as the statistics can deal with the numbers, right? So, for example, if I have asked the gender of the people, so it is quite obvious they will either give the female or they will be either belonging to the male and female category if I am asking for or talking about the two genders only, right? So, to code this data, suppose I have given two for the female and one for the male, right? So here there is no meaning as if I'll talk only the numbers, so numbers are having the meanings, they are having the order properly, right? But here there is no meaning of these numbers. These numbers we have used only for the identification purpose. So there is no meaning of one and two, but once I'll say this thing one in terms of gender, so we can understand this is the male category and two, this is the female category respondent, right? So this way there is this skill is also used for the identification purpose. Getting me? This skill is clear to everyone? Yes.
Yes,
I'm-
madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Next is the ordinal. Ordinal can classify also, means categorization is also possible. And there will be rank order. Means, for example, if I'm talking about the top 5 students of my class, right? So that way classification is possible. Apart from that, order is also available there. I can arrange the ranks in the ascending or the descending order, right? Say for example, you are asking to the respondents, you have given the choices of the 5 products. You are asking them to rank these products. So how many of the people are giving a rank 1 to a particular product? So that way, that is a classification. And on the basis of their rank, you can arrange these rank in the ascending and the descending order also. So this is known as the ordinal scale. Next one is the interval scale. Ordinal is clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So here we will be having these two things, means every scale will having the characteristics or features of its previous scale. And apart from that, one more. That is equal distance or difference. Right? Always I take the example of temperature. So temperature, we know when we talk about temperature, we know this thing. For example, I want to classify cities on the basis of their temperature, right? So there can be certain brackets. Suppose it is 20 to 25 degree, 26 to 20, suppose 30, then suppose 30, 1 to 35, and likewise I can write down, right? So whatever cities are belonging to these temperature category, I can group them, right? So here you can find, I can classify the cities on the basis of these temperatures, and also there is possibility of ranking these different categories of the temperature. And apart from that, there is an equal distance, right? But
हाँ
there is a lacking, and lacking is
क्या
what?
चीज एक मिनट
Lacking of actual zero or absolute zero. Actual or absolute zero is not existing in case of interval scale. So to understand this, again, I can talk about the temperature. So we know this thing that when we talk about the 0 degree temperature, so at 0 degree, I think we can feel one of the characteristics of the temperature. So how we are feeling that temperature is there? Anyone? What you feel? Anyone? I think presently we are. This is a transition period from this winter. We are going to the summer. So in summer, what we are feeling? Yes.
Hot,
And in winter?
cold.
Very good. Means these are the two ways to understanding the temperature, right? Either we will feel cold, either we will feel hot, right? But when we say 0 degree, so at 0 degree, what we feel?
Winter.
Cold.
Very cold.
We will feel cold, right? Meaning is that we are saying the temperature is 0, but still one of the characteristics which we are measuring is still present there. That means it is lacking the actual 0. So to develop the thermometers and the temperature scales, generally scientists have arbitrarily kept at a particular place that this is a 0, right? But that 0 means it is not actually 0. So that is why we can say that one of the characteristics of temperature is still present at 0 also. So that way we can say it is a lacking of the actual thing, means whatever you are measuring at 0 should not present when so that is why we can call it as a lacking of the interval scale. So to overcome this, we are having the last scale, which is the ratio scale. It will be having all the characteristics of its previous scales, like classification, equal rank order, then the equal distance, and actual 0. So example is, suppose income, height, it's comma, right? Height, weight, salary, etc. can be come under the ratio scale. It is clear? All 4 scales are clear, I think so, friends.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
No doubt here.
No, ma'am.
Fine. So I'll proceed with the SPSS now. So give me a second. I'll share my screen for the SPSS with all of you. Fine. So I think I have opened the SPSS. Give me a second. I'm just sharing the screen. Why it is not showing me? Just a minute. Mhm. Yes. Okay, I think I shared my screen. I hope it is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So friends, now I'll start explaining you the interface of SPSS. We will see few things here, and that way we will understand its use in the data analysis, right? So you can find, I think many of you have initially said, I think you have not worked with SPSS priorly, right? So anyone is having the idea SPSS stands for what?
It is a kind of a computer program, I think.
Statistical package for social sciences.
Very correct. Sir said very correctly. It is the SPSS stands for statistical package for the social sciences. So actually, I belong to the management side. I am not knowing from which field you people are, right? So that is why I cannot say this thing whether you people are of means I don't know your specializations or your fields, your disciplines. I'm not knowing. I am from the management side, and management is comes under the social sciences. So in the social science researches, we are using SPSS, but it is not like we cannot use the SPSS for the other researches. There are so many other branches also where we can use SPSS if we are performing the statistical analysis, right? So this is SPSS, and then talking about this is the product of the IBM presently. Previously, when it was introduced, it was with the SPSS Incorporation, and afterward it was taken by the SPS IBM. So now it is a product of IBM. Presently, the latest version, if I talk about it, is 29. I am showing you the 25th version of the SPSS because I'm having the 25th version right now, right? So if you want to use SPSS, you can go on the IBM SPSS website. From there, you can download the software. Initially, it is allowing you to download the software for the 30 days trial, means for the 30 days as a trial period, right? So for the 30 days, you can download its trial version. Through that, you can understand how you can work with the SPSS. So this is about the basics of the SPSS or the what SPSS is. Now we will see how we can work with SPSS, right? So looking at the interface of SPSS, I think you can be saying this thing. If you are familiar with the Excel, you have worked with the Excel, you can understand this thing. The interface is very similar to the SPSS. Very similar to the Excel. Here you can find the grid kind of system. It is very similar there in the Excel also. That is, rows are there, columns are there, intersections are like cells and all. So this is like that only. Only you can find here in the Excel, in our Excel workbook, we can enter so many worksheets, but here there is no such type of facility available. At the bottom left, you can find where I'm rotating my mouse. You can see here we are having the two views, data view and the variable view. Visible, I hope, to everyone. Written here.
Yes, ma'am.
So when I say data view and the variable view, you can find these two views are available. So we will understand what these two views are, right? So I'll explain you firstly. If I say presently, you can find the button color is yellowish kind of. Maybe in the when I have shared the screen, you can see some other color also, maybe red or something. So color changing you can find here. So presently the data view is activated. So this view is allowing you to store your data in the SPSS, right? Means in this view we can keep our data, right? So the column will indicate, you can find here it is indicating, you're showing you VAR. That means this way all the with whatever data you will bring in the SPSS from any other source. So if there are names defined there, so these will becoming here the headings of your column. By default it is VAR. Then these rows are nothing but these are the cases or the respondent number, right? So for a particular respondent, row wise your data will be entered. I think same with the Excel also. So I think this is very familiar for each one of you. So this way, this is one thing. First thing is, next thing is that you can find here, this is a ribbon of the SPSS interface, where you can find there are so many different menus are available, right? Apart from that, you can also see different icons are available to access few of the things very easily. You will click on the icons, so that way you will be easily accessing that kind of thing here, right? After that, I'm now clicking on the variable view. So once I'll click on the variable view, here you can find this is a view where we can define our variables. So here you need to understand one thing. If you are importing your data from the sources like Excel, that is CSV file, etc., So if your variable names are defined there, so same will be copied down here also, right? But if you are manually entering your data, so in that case, you can use this particular window to define your variables, right? So this variable view will allowing you to keep the name of your variables and their various characteristics. So we will understand all the characteristics one by one. So I hope both the views are clear to every one of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So now,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, thank you so much, sir and ma'am. So now you can see, I'll explaining you how to define variables in the SPSS. So this is known as these two, including these two views, this particular interface is known as data editor, right? And after you are performing anything on the this SPSS, you will be getting the results in the different window that is known as the output viewer, right? So that I'll show you once we will perform something. Till here, till then, everything is clear to everyone. Fine.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Fine.
ma'am.
Now I'll firstly show you few of the restrictions while creating, while writing, or while defining the name of your variable. So what are the restrictions? I'll show you. So deliberately I'll make some mistakes so that you can understand that these things you cannot do while defining the name of your variable, right? So suppose I'm writing here. I hope it is visible to every one of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. You can
Yes,
see.
ma'am.
Yeah, thank you everyone. You can see here. Here I have written hashtag gender. After writing my name, nothing I have did except writing the name, right? Now I'm pressing a tab key, or maybe you can press enter also. So I have did that. So you can see it is showing me the invalid variable name. I hope it is visible. The warning is visible to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that way I have
Yes,
pressed
ma'am.
OK. Yeah. Now I am using the second, or I'm doing the next mistake. I have written here dollar gender. Again, I am pressing a tab, and error is again say invalid variable name. Right? Okay. Suppose I am doing ampersand, pressing enter. Variable name contains an illegal character, right? So that way you can see, if you are starting the name of your variable using these special characters, SPSS is not allowing you to do so, right? So this way, if you want to use these special characters in the name of variable, either you can keep the name in between any particular word, maybe in between of any of the alphabets, or at the end you can keep. There is no problem with that. Initially, you cannot keep. But if you want to use at the rate, I am pressing now tab. No problem with that. It is allow it is allowed by the SPSS for you, right? There is no problem. So if you want to start the name of your variable using at the rate, SPSS will not create any problem to you. It is clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now, yeah. Now if I am writing one gender and pressing the tab, again variable name contains an illegal first character. That means I cannot start the name of variable with the numbers also. If I want to keep that, I can keep in between somewhere, or maybe at the end. It is allowed. No problem with this, right? So, but I'm keeping only gender here. After that, after writing your name, once you are pressing the tab or pressing the enter, you can see some of the fields values are already filled by SPSS. I think you can observe numeric 8, 2, then 8, then right. Some of the things are already filled, right? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we will understand the meaning of all these. So gender is, I think I just said which kind of variable gender is.
Nominal.
It's a nominal scale variable. Very correct. Fine. So it's a nominal scale variable, meaning is that I cannot express this variable in the form of number. If I want, means if I have done the coding, right? that is fine. In that case, I can express it into the form of number. So the type is numeric, right? Presently, you can find the type of gender is numeric because SPSS is a software which is allowing you to perform statistics, and statistics can deal with the numbers, right? So by default, generally, whatever variables you are taking here, SPSS is defining their type as numeric. But if suppose you want to make any changes in the type, you can click, sorry, you can come in this particular cell and you can find there are three dots. I'll click on this. So the variable type box will open for me. There you can find there are various types like numeric, comma, dot, scientific notations, date, dollar, etc. According to your need, you can set the type. Generally, numeric, string, date, etc. are mostly used types of the variable, right? So according to your need, you can do. Suppose I'll go with the numeric only, right? So I'll not make any change here, but we know gender is a, if I'm defining it in the number form, it will be a discrete variable, right? So that means there is no use of decimal, so I can make it 0 using the yeah, using the this top and the down arrows, I can make it 0. Then talking about the width. Width is generally used if you are defining your variable in the decimal point. In that case, it is will be taking only 8 characters. In that case, there is a meaning of the width, right? Or if your variable is the string variable. String meaning, suppose name I have taken and I'm taking its type as string, clicking on OK. So in that case, it will only accept 8 characters once you are entering the name of any particular person, right? So it will take only 8 characters, right? And there will be no use of the decimal. So by default, SPSS has set it as 0 because this is a string variable, right? So this is the meaning of width and the decimal columns here. Next is the label. Label, as I think one more thing I need to tell you here. Suppose I want to write here gender of respondent. I have written the name like gender of respondents, right? Now I am pressing the tab again. So again, you can find variable name contains an illegal character. Meaning is that if you want to define the name of your variable using more than one word, in that case, you need to use either the underscore or the period, that is a dot sign. Right? So both the things directly or simultaneously I have taken here to show you if this way you are writing, means both the places you can use underscore, or at both the places you can use the period sign also. There is no problem. So I'm pressing enter. You can see no error we are getting, but I think it is not looking good, right? So what I'll do, I am deleting this. I'm deleting till here, keeping this only. And then as you can find, we are having one more option available here named as label. So in the label, I can write without any hurdle, without any hindrance, the name or the description I want to give for my variable. So if I am writing the name like gender of, or giving the label, right, gender of respondents, you can see once I'll press the tab, no error we are getting, right? So the limitation or the restriction is there in defining the name of the variable, but label is giving you the facility to give the proper description, whatever you want to write about your variable, so that you can store here. Is it clear?
Ma'am, actually, can you just give me a little bit of clarification regarding width, how we have got the number 8?
Sir, it is by default value. It is not got. It is by default value. If you want to increase, decrease, you can come here and using these, you can increase and decrease.
But what is the purpose of that, ma'am? How it's coming like by
It is a
default?
software, sir. It's a coding done by the persons, those who have developed it. So it is by default value.
So
So
any
you
value can come over there. We have to
it
accept.
can be
Ma'am,
yeah, up to you. By default, it is 8. Using these up and down arrows keys, you can change the values. You want to decrease, you can decrease it.
ma'am, it means after decimal, it would be 8 character can be accepted.
Decimal, I have made 0. There is no use of decimal here.
Okay.
Getting me? 8 value or means, as you need to understand, if your variable is, suppose I am taking weight. In weight, there is a meaning of decimal. In gender, there is no meaning of decimal. So I have made it 0, right? Now I'll come here. I'll enter a few figures here, right? Suppose I have written. So this is the gender I have defined here. Name, suppose I am writing. Now you can see the restriction. My name is off, although people are calling me Chanchal, but officially my name is Chanchla. So I have written here Chanchal. I am trying to press A, but it is not taking. I think you cannot hear the sound once you are doing, which is not permissible by the software. So it is giving you some error type of sound, right? So I think I can hear that sound because I am trying to enter the 9th character here, which is not accepted by the software. So the reason is what? Here in the name you can find width is 8 only. If I will increase this,
Yes,
now
ma'am.
you
Got
can
it.
see, I will write my complete name. And it has accepted also, no problem. Getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
So we
Similar-
can have the like it shows the width of the name to what extent we can use it.
Characters,
Character will be considered.
right? But one more thing, this is applicable in case of the string. When I talk about a discrete variable, discrete meaning a complete number variable. Suppose I'm coming here, I'm entering some numbers here, and I think 1, 2, 3 is very good to write, so you can understand. Now you can see it has taken, no problem with this. Getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
So when your variable is discrete, there is no meaning of this width. But when your variable is the numeric variable, and with the numeric means that continuous variable, right? So you can see its impact here. I'll come here. I will not write this. This is not my weight. So I'm writing something 3, 3, 6, 7. Now you can find.
Yes. After
Getting me?
decimal, after decimal, it is only 2 character will be
Characters
accepted.
will come. Yes.
Yeah.
Getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the meaning. Label, I think also clear. Coming to the values. Values is what? It is value labels. If you will not use, there is no means mandate to use this particular option. But for the reference purpose, we should use it, right? If you have coded your data using this value labels option, you can define whatever coding you have given. Suppose I'm coming here. I'll click on these 3 dots. I have written here 1. 1, suppose I have given to the male category. I can add this. 2, I have given to the female category. I can add this. Done? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll click on OK. So this will be stored in the SPSS that 1 is what and 2 is what. So in future reference, suppose after 20, 30 days, you are using your data for the analysis and all. So in that case, if suppose you are unable to recall 1 you have given to the male or female. So for that purpose, this value label option is a very good option. This will make you understand that 1 you have written for what category, right? So this way you can use this particular option. In case of a string, there is no meaning of this, right? Because a string variable, what categories there will be there. So there is no meaning of that. For weight, if you are asking the weight directly, so again there is no meaning. But if you are asking the weight in a range, suppose 35 to 50, and then 51 to 65, likewise. So in that case, there is a meaning. In that case, that way you can define those years. Coming to the next, which is missing. Missing meaning is there are 2 meanings there are 2 types of missing in the SPSS. I'll show you in the data view. You can find I have entered few figures here for the gender 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, right? I think I am female, so I am making it 2, right? So 1 2 1 2 1 2 I have mentioned here. In the numeric column, you can find for the weight certain dots periods you can see. I hope visible to everyone, right? Visible, I hope.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the system defined missing value, means we have not provided data to the system. This is system defined missing value, right? Second missing value, which which is available here in the case of variable view. This is missing value. This missing value is known as the user defined missing value. Means we being a user, if suppose we want to what I can say, suppose there are multiple categories in my data in my particular variable, and I do not want to use all the categories for the analysis purpose. So I can come and I can define here, do not include this in the analysis, right? Suppose I'm coming here in the weight, I am writing here, suppose it is 22 or 21 is more meaningful for me. 21 to 40 I have read. 2 I have given for 41 to 60. Done. And 3 I have given to above 60. And it is clear? I hope clear.
Can you please repeat?
What I think one I have given, I have defined the ranges of the weights here. 1 4 means one will, if suppose I'll come here. Suppose I have written 2, 1, 2, 1 or 3. So meaning is what? This person is belonging to the weight between 41 to 60. Right? This is the meaning. This is what we have defined here. Clear?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Fine. Now, if suppose I want to define the missing for this, so I'll come here. I will click on these 3 dots. And here you can see there are 3 options, I hope visible to everyone. The first one is no missing values. Means by default, SPSS is taking everything is present in the data. It is not considering anything as missing. Second is the discrete missing values. Discrete missing values meaning is, suppose I'll select this radio button. Suppose I have written here 3. And once I'll press OK. So the meaning is what? Here 3 is what? 3 is above 60. Meaning is that when I will perform any analysis using the weight variable, only 2 categories will be considered, 20 to 40 and 41 to 60. Rest of the respondents' data will not be considered by the SPSS. As I have defined, 3 should not be included in my analysis. Is it clear
Yes, ma'am.
to everyone? I think I'm not getting any answer except one.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Values part actually not
Sorry?
having much clarity on this, if you can. In terms
Sorry?
of value, you have in the values column, I'm not able to get the understanding, ma'am. If you can just elaborate on this, ma'am. 2 and 3.
Suppose
In
we
very
are asking the weight of the people, you have given the ranges. What is your weight, or mark your weight, 21 to 40, 41 to 60 or above 60. So because with this type of data you cannot perform analysis. So I have coded my data. I encoded my data like I have given 1 to 21 to 40, 2 to 41 to 60 and 3 to above 60.
Okay. Got it, ma'am. You have coded the data. Okay.
Yeah, I think I told you label and value labels we are using for the coding the data.
Okay, ma'am. Got
To
it,
define
ma'am.
our codings.
Thank you, ma'am.
Fine. Further, one more variable I have entered named as age. Here, suppose you are directly asking the age. You are not defining any ranges, like suppose usually we are asking you belong to 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50 and above 50. Generally, we are giving certain ranges, right, to ask the age of the respondents. But if suppose you are asking an open-ended question to write your age, so that way, suppose the form is your data collection form circulated to so many people, and some of the people, those who are minor, and suppose you do not want to include their data in your analysis, so what you can do, you can come here and you can define. You can select this time the third option, which is range plus 1 optional discrete missing value. So suppose I am defining, I observed the minimum age in my data is suppose 14 years. So I do not want to include the data of the people who are between 14 to 20. So this way I have given a range. So whatever people in the response section, whatever people is having the age of 14 to 20, their data will not be included by the SPSS for the analysis, right? Then you can read here range plus one optional. So this discrete value is optional value. It is not mandatory for you to define. But if suppose you found the extreme is coming as suppose 87, suppose a person, or maybe it is very, I think suppose 78, person who is from the age of 78, he has filled your form. And I suppose you do not want to include his or her data, so you can write here discrete value. Although it is optional, it is already mentioned here. So once you will click on OK, so if suppose in your data, people, suppose I have written 30, 34, then 15, then 18, then 30, then 37, then 28, like, getting me? Getting me? So this way, this respondent, these two respondents, I think are there. These data will not be included by SPSS for the analysis purpose. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the meaning of this missing. Columns and alignment are only for the beautification purpose. You can see this is only for making up your data. So suppose I am increasing this. I have increased this, stressed this particular column. You can see the impact of the name column in the variable view. Now you can find for the name, the column instead of 8, it is coming 10. So that is by default, I have increased its size, right? It has come to the 10. Talking about the alignment, I think we all are working in Word document on using the Excel, so we are very well known these things. So by default, for numeric, generally the alignment will always be the right. For the string variable, alignment will be the left. Same with we are looking in the Excel. So if you want to make any changes, you can click on the particular cell and you can get the options. So whatever way of display you want to keep of your data, that you can decide from here. So this is what alignment will do for you. Next and the important option is the measurement. Measurement scales we have just studied. There are 4 measurement scales usually in statistics. But in terms, when I talk about this, what I can say, the SPSS, there are only 3 skills available. Once I have clicked on this, you can see nominal, ordinal, and these skills. These are only the 3 skills available. So if your data or your variable is on the nominal, is on the interval or ratio scale, you will set its type as a scale, right? So generally we know gender is a kind of nominal scale variable. Name will always be nominal. Then I have taken next is the weight. It is ordinal, or the scale variable age. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So this way, these are the various options. Using that, you can define your variable. Once you are defining your variable, and you can come in the data view and you can find, you can see here, these are becoming your headings of the columns. So that way you can see along with the this, what I can say, the icons you can identify. This is the nominal variable icon. This is the ordinal scale variable icon. This is the interval or ratio scale variable icon. Right? Getting me? Till here, I think I'm clear to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'll tell you how to import data in SPSS. Right? So using SPSS, how can bring data in the environment of SPSS? For that, we need to go to the file menu. We'll go to the open and we'll select the data. So if you want to note down these steps, you can write file, open, and data. Once you will click on this, the dialog box will appear. Here you can see, if you want to take a pic, you can take its pic. This way, this will help you to understand in future if you are using the what I can say, SPSS for your analysis purpose. You can see how to bring data in SPSS. Here in the lookin means you need to set the location from where you want to take the data. Suppose just a minute, I am selecting the location. No, I selected the location. This is my location. Or maybe I want to be little more what I can see. Specific, I selected a specific column.
Ma'am, I'm sorry to disturb you. Actually, the second pop-up window is not visible.
The open
my
data
screen.
window is not visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, to everyone.
Like how you are selecting the second part.
No, ma'am, it's visible.
It's visible or not visible? Anyone please comment.
Visible,
Not
ma'am.
visible, ma'am.
Visible, ma'am. Visible.
Some of you are saying visible.
Visible.
I think to pin my screen, sir. I'll give you a few seconds. You please search my screen. You can pin the screen and then tell me whether it is visible or not.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Give me a second. I'm stop sharing. Again sharing. Now,
Yes, ma'am. Now it is visible.
open data box is visible or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
Thank you.
So, fine. Thank you, sir. Now you can find in this open data dialog box under the look-in. Look-in ka meaning is you need to select the location from where you want to pick your data. So I'll presently, I think I do not want to pick anything from this particular section. So I'll do or I'll go for this drop down, and from here I selected my location. After that, you can find every file which is showing here is with the extension .sav. I do not want to pick .sav file, suppose. So what I need to do, I'll come here in the files of type, because it is indicating extensions like .sav, .zsav. So with these extensions, only whatever files are available are shown by the SPSS to us.
Ma'am,
So
this is not visible.
Which
The
is not
selection
visible?
part, your cursor point is visible, but I am not getting the window, sub window, which you actually opens in SPSS.
Open data
Yes,
is not
ma'am.
visible.
Yes, the sub window for selection purpose, that portion is not visible, ma'am.
Give me a second. I'll share again. I'll share again. Give me a second.
Yes, ma'am.
No, we are not able to see from the data part, new open data.
Okay. File, open, and then data.
This is visible, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Now it
Fine.
is visible.
Now it is visible.
Okay. So I selected the specific folder from where I want to pick the file. In the files of type, I can only see .sav, .zsav files. So I'll click on this drop down and I'll select the file which I want to import here. So suppose I want to pick a Excel file. So I need to set the extension as .xls and all the related extensions, right? So suppose I selected one of the files, and once I'll click on open, it will show me a read Excel file dialog box. So in the first section, you can find the worksheet. Usually in the Excel, there can be many worksheets available. So you can click on this. You can find there are two worksheets shown to me. Suppose I want to bring the first worksheet. So I can select that. If you want to bring second worksheet, that you can select, right? But I'll go with the first one because the data is available in this sheet. Next is the read variable names from the first row of the data. So whatever is in the first row of my Excel file, suppose variable names are written, they will be taken as a variable name in the SPSS, right? Then the percentages of the values that determine data type are 95. Then ignore hidden rows and columns. If there are any hidden rows I have made there in the Excel, if I have hidden something in the Excel, so that will not be read by the SPSS for us, right? And then you can see the preview of your data and you can click on the OK. So once you will click on OK, I think now you can see the data is available with us. Visible, I hope.
Yes, ma'am, visible.
Right. So this way, this is the way of importing the data in SPSS. And I think this is the one way. Next way is what you can go directly in the import data section under the file. You can click on the import data, and from there you can find here the defined forms are directly available. Once you will click on the Excel, you will be on this open data folder, and if the correct folder is selected, so by default, all the files visible in that available in that folder will be visible to you, or else you can select, change the location, and that way you can find the appropriate file from there, right? So this is the second way. Next is the very simple way using this open data. This is the first icon in the folder form. You can see if you will click on this, this will also land you on the open data dialog box. So these are the various ways of importing data in SPSS. Till here I am clear to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So now,
Yes, ma'am.
fine. So now I'll take only the last thing because we haven't performed anything here, right? So I'll take only the last thing to let you know that how you can do the analysis and all using the SPSS. For that, I'll go there in the analyze option, and here I'll select the descriptive statistics. Suppose for my salary variable, I want to see the descriptive statistics, right? So I'll go in the analyze, go in the descriptive statistics, and from here I'll select the descriptives. No, I'll select the explore option. Getting me? Clear? May I?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Once you will click on this, you need to shift your appropriate variable, which is job, which is the salary. I'll shift it into the dependent list box. I did. Done. Fine, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Now in the statistics, by default, it is showing me the descriptives at the 95%. So I think it is fine. We'll go with this. In the plot section, I'll select the histogram instead of the stem and leaf. Stem and leaf is a very older method to understand the distribution of the data. I'll select the histogram here, right? And one more thing I'm selecting here, which is the normality plots with the tests. And the box plot, whatever is the by default selection, will go with this. This is all what I did here. Done. May I click on OK?
Ma'am, could you
Yes,
repeat?
From where?
Just
From where, ma'am? Okay, I think I voice is not clear to me, ma'am. Will you please tell me from where I need to repeat?
मैम जहाँ से ये पेज स्टार्ट हुआ है ना फ्रॉम द आईडी जेंडर एजुकेशन एंड ये वाला हाँ फ्रॉम हियर
I think I told analyze, descriptive statistics, and the explore.
ओके मैम
Now you can shift the salary from the left box to the right box in the dependent list box. Click on the plots. Deselect stem and leaf. Select histogram. And select normality plots with tests. Done.
हाँ जी मैम
Then you can press continue. To get the output, you can click on OK. Done. Everyone, it is done. Those who are having, I think only they can perform, or maybe you people are noting down. So I think I can go for the interpretation now.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now you can see the first table in the explore coming for the case processing summary, which is telling you we are having the salary variable. For this, we are having total 474 observations, and there was no missing value in the data. So the total is 474. Next is the descriptive statistics. Now I think you people are not performing, so it's better you can listen very attentively. What is the meaning of this? Salary, mean salary means the average salary of the all the employees, which is around 34,419.57. Next is the 95% confidence interval for mean. So the lower range for this is 32,878, and the upper range is the 35,960. Meaning is this, if I will pick the another sample from the same population, so the chances, 95% chances is that the mean salary will fall in this particular range, right? 5% trimmed mean is what? It is like we are extreme, we are what I can say, cutting, or we are removing the 5% upper and lower outliers, or the higher value and the lower side, lower values, means from both the sides in the arranged data, or maybe you can arrange your data in the order, and in that case, from both the sides, 5% data will be removed, and after that the salary will be calculated. So you can find the mean salary is coming as 32,455. This is the 5% trimmed mean. From both sides, 5% data you are removing. Median salary is 28,875. Variance is, I think it's in something lakhs and something. So this value is very big. You can read it. Standard deviation is around 17,075. Minimum salary is 15,750 and maximum is 1,35,000. Range of the salary is, this is the difference of the maximum and the minimum salary, which is around 1,19,250. Interquartile range is nothing but it is the difference of the quartiles. Third quartile minus first quartile will give you the interquartile range, which is 13.136. 36,163. Skewness is 2.215. Skewness will tell you the symmetry in your data, whether your data is symmetrical to mean or not, right? So usually this should be 0 or near to 0, but it is coming 2.215, 2.125. That means your salary is not symmetrical to mean. Kurtosis is telling you the sharpness of the curve, bell-shaped curve, if you are knowing about the normal distribution. So for understanding the normality, we are using these two parameters, skewness and kurtosis. So if kurtosis is coming positive and very high value, more than 3 something, so that way you can say your data will be leptokurtic data. If it is less than 3, you can call it as a platykurtic. Or generally for the positive value, we can call it leptokurtic data. For the negative kurtosis value, we can call it as a platykurtic data, right? So if means flatter curve will be there in the platykurtic data. In case of leptokurtic data, there will be very sharp curve of the bell, means the bell will be very sharp in case of the kurtosis, positive kurtosis, right? So looking at these two figures, I think we can comment that that salary is not normally distributed. To ascertain this thing, there are two tests available in SPSS, Kolmogorov-Smirnov and the Shapiro-Wilks test. So according to your data size, if your data or sample size is less than 1,000 or something, you can generally report Shapiro-Wilks test. So that way, in this case, you can see its significant value, which is 0.000. So the null hypothesis for Shapiro-Wilks test is variable is normally distributed. This is the null hypothesis. So according to the significant value, this significant value is less than your level of significance. By default, SPSS works on 5% level of significance. So I can compare this from the 5%. So I can say it is very small. That means I need to reject my null hypothesis. So again, according to the Shapiro-Wilks test, I can say that salary is not normally distributed. Looking at the histogram, you can see histogram is also the distribution curve, which is indicating whether the distribution is okay or not. So you can see it is clearly indicating there are so many small bars are coming at the right side. That means problem, there are very less number of people those who are drawing the higher salaries, right? There are many people those who are drawing these lesser salaries, but there are very less people those who are drawing the higher salary. That means your data is positively, or the salary is the positively skewed salary, right? Looking at the QQ plot is indicating this is the fitted line. If all the data points are following this line, that means you can say salary is normally distributed. But here you can see deviation from the line. These points are not coming exactly or nearby to the line. That means again there is a problem with the salary. Your salary is not normally distributed. This graph, I think this is the extra output. You can skip this. Lastly, the box plot. Box plot can help you to understand the normality, as well as you can also find the outliers using this. So at the right side, upper side. Same you can see in the histogram. So that way you can see there are the circles and the asterisks. These are indicating these are the outliers. So there are 5 components of a box plot. You can find the middle line is the median line. The upper line of the box is the third quartile. Lower line of the box is the first quartile. And above this line, this area is known as the upper whisker, and this area is known as the lower whisker. Beyond the whiskers, if any circles, asterisks are coming, so these are known as the outliers. So at the lower side, if you can see from the lower whisker side, if I'll come, I can find there is no outlier available. But here at the upper side, there are so many outliers are available, right? So asterisks are the significant outliers. That means your data is dominated by the outliers in case of salary. That means that is why it is creating problem for the normality of your data, right? So if you can drop them, maybe there can be little improvement in the normality side. So this way descriptive statistics can help you to summarize your data. Also it can help you to understand the nature of the data, and it is very important from the point of view of the statistical analysis, because in some of the cases we are generally performing means we are using these statistics, so we need to see certain assumptions of the statistical test, right? So one of the major or the main assumptions when we talk about the parametric test is the normality. So this way you can check the normality of the data using the descriptive statistics, right?
Ma'am,
Yes.
just one thing, ma'am. You have mentioned about the standard deviation 17,075.661. What this data represents, ma'am, actually, if you can explain me.
Deviation from the mean.
Deviation from the mean, like the mean value is
This
there.
is average
Like,
deviation we can say.
sorry, ma'am.
Average deviation we can say, because
Average
all the values are
deviation
not
between two
similar.
salaries.
Not
Average
salary,
deviation
all
between
the
two salaries.
salaries. It is for the complete salary. Always standard deviation and mean are coming for the complete series. Median is means median is dividing your data into the 2 equal parts. So that way it is only considering the middle 2 values, and that way this median values is coming. This is the problem with the median and mean. Mean is considering all the values, but median is considering only the 2 middlemost values for getting this figure.
Okay.
Right? Fine, everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think this is what we have. I tried to make you understand about the SPSS, right? So for the, I think there are various kind of what I can say. Statistical tests which you can perform using the SPSS, whether these are the means this can be the parametric test, there can be the non-parametric test. Multiple means multivariate analysis also you can do using the SPSS. So this way SPSS can help you to perform various statistical tests. Only we need to have the understanding that how you can perform those tests using the SPSS. In the analyze section, all the tests are listed. That way you need to only shift your data from left side to the right side, and you can get the output. And then you can need to have the expertise in the interpretation part only. So friend, this is all from my side for the day. Now I think the session is open for question and answers. If you are having any, please ask.
It was very nice session, ma'am.
Thank you so much,
Ma'am,
ma'am. Yes.
it was great session, but actually, same thing. Maybe it's an individual basis. Like, what is the relevance and significance of this standard deviation, whatever number we get? So, what exactly try to explain,
It
ma'am?
is indicating you the deviation in the data, because sir, all the values are not same. Right? Because means suppose one person is getting 25,000 rupees salary, another is getting suppose 52,000 rupees salary, another is getting suppose 63,000 salary. So all the amounts are not same. So what we are doing, we are taking the mean, and from mean we are taking the difference. All means we are taking understanding the deviation from the mean. Getting
Okay,
me?
from the mean, we are trying to understand how each individual is having the difference from the mean in terms of salary
Yes.
on an average.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Fine. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. Any other question?
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Thank you, ma'am.
again, it's a pleasure to be part of your session. I attended your session.
Okay, Debasis sir, yeah.
Yeah, ji. Ma'am, multicollinearity will be part of regression, but it's not in this. Just wanted, because last time we talked about regression. Just
Multicollinearity is related to the correlation, high correlation value, sir.
so it will be calculated through the regression step only. Ma'am?
Usually, sir, it is depending for what purpose we are using the analysis. For regression, generally, we are bothering about your interval, means your independent variables are, if suppose they are correlated. So that means there is a problem. That means they are not sharing a good relationship with your dependent variable. So we need to be checking this thing that that the independent variable should be moderately related, but not they should not be highly correlated. If they are highly correlated, means there is a high multicollinearity existing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So may I expect from every one of you to switch on your cameras and I can capture you? If you can, not necessary. Okay, I think I can see the Priyesh sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Okay, Rashmi also. Sharad sir, Rohini ma'am, thank you. Rachna ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi ma'am.
And wonderful explanation today.
Okay, thank you so much ma'am. Thank you for the
Very
motivation.
session, ma'am.
And one more thing is that whatever may be the imported data in SPSS, it is already available in SPSS, or we have to create one more data for that.
No, means ma'am, if you are collecting your data through the Google form, right? So in that case, such kind of data also you can import in the SPSS.
Okay.
Right?
I think we have to create the imported data as a one part of file. We attach that imported data.
Means you can keep your data in the CSV file or maybe in the Excel file, right? And that data you can bring in the SPSS environment for the analysis purpose.
Okay.
Fine.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I think this is all. We will be meeting in the future sessions. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience listening to me. Right. So we are meeting maybe in future. Thank you, everyone. So Yogra sir, I think we are done. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.